Yeah, I want this to be as self-aware as possible. So it's like, this video right now assumes so much about us. Like we haven't explained much about who we are, or like even what we're talking about. I mean, we explained a lot, but it's not. We could go so much deeper to try to explain away literally everything we just said. But it's like I don't feel like we need to do that. Every time I watch those videos of Virgil, they just hop in, and sometimes they give no context for what they were just talking about, and I'm like, it's like almost cool to have to find yourself in it and like get as much out of it as you can with no context, you know. So that's what I want this to be, is like the audience, you guys are just jumping in this with us, and you'll get out of it what you need to get out of it, and that's where we're gonna leave it, you know. So
it's tough, but that's enough said, bro.
What's keeping you going? Fear? Stomach acid?
Sometimes I make myself some avocado dip and chips. It's really good. I didn't start doing that until all of this happened.
Being alone, I am an introvert. It's a great, quarantine has not lessened my ability to create.
Some days are better than others.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm working on is being buoyant in a way. Because we're all drowning. Everybody's kind of like, you know, the water's up to my neck.
Yeah.
Got that feeling. And so the trick becomes like, okay, fill your body with air so that you can float. And so you're not working against yourself, like churning. Because what God's saying is, you know, he's circling the boat. And it's like water skiing without a jacket, and then falling and like your skis pulling you down and everything's just working against you. And it'll just take a moment, you know, for God the pilot to turn the boat back around and come get you. But it feels like forever.
Yeah.
Because for us, it is a lifetime of waiting for that boat to come around. That delayed gratification.
Keeping an idea book around so that I know what I wanted to do at 2 p.m. when I was in the middle of something else. When I was just after lunch and we were going outside to play in the backyard. At 2 p.m. I had this idea. What was that idea? Oh, I don't remember. Oh, wait a minute. I'll look it up.
I started reading, and I usually didn't do that, but I've had a lot of time to actually start reading books, which is nice.
I've recently discovered that I feel most like Kevin, most like myself, when I spend a little bit of time reading and a little bit of time writing every day.
Nice. There's
something about
awesome.
Reading a real book, not just scrolling through Facebook or whatever.
I have seasons of I keep this. I write in this guy as kind of like this is a place to show up.
But I mean, reading a book and writing in a book, that the physical experience of that. Helps me, there's something very Kevin about that. I don't know, it helps me center or ground myself and my personality.
That's huge.
I think it's a way of them kind of saying out loud and giving permission to other people to talk to themselves the way that say David in the Psalms does, you know.
Right.
Why are you cast down, O my soul?
Yeah.
Why are you at turmoil within me? Just in that way, being kind enough to yourself to ask yourself hard questions. Flannery O'Connor said, "I don't know what I think until I write it down." So I'm finding that to be more and more true. to take the time to solidify my thoughts. It's a way to get out of the fart cave, the echo chamber of my mind. I'm glad that that's a recurring image now, so
Yeah, we can keep referring to that.
I'll use it one more time and that'll be it.
But good art changes people,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so,
That's one of my favorite quotes. Art changes people and people change the world.
and there's nothing that changes people more than the gospel, bro. So in a sense, there's nothing more artistic than the gospel because
Yes.
it is a thing that changes people more than anyone or anything else can,
Right.
ever.
Yes.
Sheesh,
My
bro.
favorite word.
Dang, bro.
In world history, there's not like the highest reality or the God that everyone's searching for isn't some image to bow down to.
Yeah.
It's not some it's not even some it's not even necessarily a person. And hear me out, because he ties it to, he ties what he's saying to the Ark of the Covenant, which the Ark of the Covenant was something that the Israelites walked around with, where it was basically the hotspot of God's presence with them. Not necessarily literally, but it was significant in that it reminded them that he was there with them. You know, like that
Yeah.
was his
Yeah.
the hotspot of his presence, and it was just like this gold box with like poles where they would be able to carry it around, and then there's this slab on top, and then inside the box is like a bunch of stuff from Israel's history, like the tablets of the Ten Commandments, like Aaron's staff
Yeah.
that led them through the wilderness or whatever, the bowl of manna that they collected, the manna that fell from heaven when they were
Yes.
in the wilderness. And then then there's a slab, and then above that slab is two angels or cherubs that are facing each other, and that's assumed like that was always connected to God's throne,
Right.
that the cherubs carried God's throne, and so like there was no image that they created of God above that, because there is no way to categorize God or put him in a box to be
Yeah.
able to make that image of him. But the greatest thing about the Ark of the Covenant was that slab between God's throne and what represented humanity at that
Yeah.
time, which was the Israelites' history.
Yes.
That's what those
Yes.
three things signified. But in between that was the most important thing, where and this is where people think it gets weird, but they sacrificed the lamb
Yeah.
or an animal, and they poured out its blood onto that slab,
Yeah.
and that signified that there was a covering, there was an atonement, there was a connection between
Yeah.
God's throne and humanity.
Yeah.
And that's what that dude was saying was the image that's at the heart of reality.
Yeah.
Is that it's so what that animal symbolically died for was to make that connection between
Yes.
God and man, but no animal could do that.
Yes.
And it was the looking forward to Jesus, the perfect spotless lamb,
Yeah, bro.
who poured his blood over the mercy seat to make an actual connection between God and man.
Yeah.
And he's saying that's the highest form of reality. That's where that's what we bow down to.
Yeah.
That's the gospel. That's
Yeah.
the highest truth. Is my life for yours,
Yes.
and that's what that's the gospel.
Yes.
That's what Jesus is.
Mhm.
That's his timeline. That's his whole life.
Yeah.
Put into a capsule is that mercy
Yeah.
seat.
Sheesh.
And the even cooler thing, I think is the most artistic thing that's ever happened and ever will happen,
Come
is
on.
that was that Ark of the Covenant that was
Yeah.
built as a symbol,
Yeah.
but then the actual reality of that thing came true when Jesus died
Yes, bro.
and was buried, and when
Yes.
he resurrected, his followers went into his his tomb and found, guess what, a angel or cherub at the foot of his tomb and at the head,
That's
which
nuts.
is the same thing that was
Yeah.
on the Ark of the Covenant, and they're
Wow.
looking at each other,
Wow.
and that was the true mercy seat. That's where the
Wow.
actual blood of the actual lamb was
Oof.
poured. That's the highest form of
Sheesh,
love.
bro.
That's the biggest love right
Yeah.
there. Is the blood spilled to connect
Yeah.
the presence of a holy God with the presence of sinful
Right.
human beings
Right.
who have offended God.
Yeah.
And he made that connection himself
Right.
through his blood.
Yeah.
That's the love. That's the most artistic thing that we
Yes.
say. That's what Picasso was trying to talk about when he said
Yeah.
love is. There's nothing more artistic than loving someone.
Yeah. What is that verse says? There's no greater love than this, than one who lays down his life for his friends.
Yeah.
There's no. That's the epitome of love, is laying down your life for your friends.
This person's life is more important than mine.
Right.
Living with that predisposition. Think about what waves that would make in the entire world if
That's
we
so good.
all live like that instead of, man, look at how all of us live now. It's like
Bro, literally
there's so
people-
much greed.
Yeah.
There's so much. I'm after my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be as independent as I possibly can. You know. It's
Bro,
all
even
about-
in the virus, bro, people going out and say, "I'm gonna get mine with the toilet paper.
Yes.
I'm gonna get mine with the water."
I think, man, that's such a
Literally, that's the epitome of my life over yours, bro.
that's such a petty communication too.
Yeah.
Like that's not artistic, bro. That's not artistic,
art, bro.
chief.
It's
You
not
know,
art, bro.
Because it's not my life or yours. It's communicating like, literally, my ass
Yeah.
is more valuable than yours.
Facts, dude. Facts, bro. Facts.
Yeah. Sheesh.
It's nutty.
Yeah.
But even then, like again, like that's again like the depth of our sinfulness. Is that like our natural disposition is my life
Yeah.
instead of yours, and that's what Jesus flips on its head.
Yes.
Sheesh,
Let's start giving toilet paper to people, bro.
bro.
I mean, you already did. This man gave me toilet paper.
I did.
That's my life for yours, bro.
Bro.
See, that's if it permeates anything, it permeates everything, bro.
Yeah.
Even down to toilet paper.
Bro, that's so good.
Yeah. Sheesh.
In a box with a hole cut in the top of it, and turn my eyes to my kids and my ears to their questions. It's amazing the peace I feel when I keep conglomerates out of attention, burn away all the dross so that the gold can shine. There are times that I'm bitter. This will not be like old dealer who stole my self-worth and charity, kept me high. So it goes. All the demons masquerading as my lovers, I fall hard for their charms. They are only ever demons. So what a choice and dignity. I suffer some to gain what's